My final Denver Broncos 53-man roster projection. If you remember, I did this last week on our live show, but then the Devon Vele trade happened. So it kind of flew everything out of whack. So I've decided to go back to my ground, go back to my roots, and give you guys my full 53-man roster projection after the Devon Vele trade. Welcome in Broncos country to the Broncos Breakdown by Chat Sports. My name is Moose, and on today's episode, that's exactly what I'm doing. But you need to know that there are some big things coming. The official 53-man roster will drop tomorrow, which means we're going to give you a full breakdown and analysis. Also, more things to come. Previews of Week 1 versus the Tennessee Titans. So make sure that you're subscribed and that you turn on those notifications so that you do not miss a single second of Broncos breakdown coverage. Now, the Broncos must have a full 53-man roster by 2 o'clock p.m. Mountain Time tomorrow. So at the time of this recording, it's a little less than 24 hours. The perfect time to give you what I believe is going to be the 53-man roster heading into week number 1. Let's start, of course, with the most important position group, the quarterbacks. I only have 2. This is not really much of a change here. Bo Nix and Stiddy, who is the preseason MVP, in my opinion. Sam Ehlinger is probably going to be designated to the practice squad. He'll be called up if he's needed in a pinch, but he is definitely a practice squad candidate for sure. I see the Broncos carrying both Bo Nix and Jarrett Stidham nice and easy. Let's go to the running backs. I have them keeping 4. This is my final guess as to what the Denver Broncos are going to hold. J.K. Dobbins, R.J. Harvey, Tyler Badie, and Jaleel McLaughlin. Yes, I have Tyler Badie in as my RB3. He showed me plenty this preseason to be considered that RB3. Now, you're probably wondering, what exactly did he show other than his ability to be a productive player? Well, there was so much to love. Number one, he's unbelievable in pass protection. His hands were soft and silky smooth. Something that I really enjoyed watching was how he could make his things happen out in the flat. And then also, he showed an ability to cut back hard, so his ability to get east and west was also really, really good. And overall, he just found his holes. He played well. Everything that I saw leads me to believe that he is absolutely going to be RB3 with Jaleel McLaughlin coming in at RB4. So those are my 4 Broncos running backs. Let's go to the wide receivers. I have them keeping 6. Cortland Sutton, Troy Franklin, Pat Bryant, Marvin Mims, Trent Sherfield, and Courtney Jackson. The one on this list that you're probably surprised to see, maybe not surprised is the right word, but a newer name on this list is Courtney Jackson. And I realized that Courtney Jackson would be a really good fit, not only because of his blazing speed, but what he can do in the special teams. I believe the Broncos are going to try and focus more on developing Marvin Mims into an offensive weapon. Someone that is more focused on their receiving talent rather than their gadget style of play, which means you're going to see him less on punt and kick returns. Maybe not, eliminated altogether, but that's where Courtney Jackson comes in. If he can alleviate some of the stress in the special teams that's placed on Marvin Mims, I think it works out in all favors. So Courtney Jackson can absolutely find himself a spot on this 53-man roster because of his ability to do it on special teams. So I'll ask you, will Courtney Jackson make the 53-man roster? Yes or no? I'm saying yes. Got to pencil it in hard, maybe even put a pen on that to make it a little bit more permanent. But I say yes. Either way, let me know in the comment section. Moving on to the tight ends, I do believe the Broncos keep 4 tight ends. Evan Engram, Adam Troutman, Lucas Kroll, and Nate Adkins. The one little caveat, the asterisk on this one is Nate Adkins, who is currently on IR, but he's on short-term IR. At least that's what Sean Payton told us. In fact, Sean Payton believes that even though he might not be ready for week 1, he should be ready to at least give us something in week 2, 3, or 4. So Sean Payton's exact words, if I had to kind of surmise it all, was that he was going to be not medically ready to play week 1, but close enough to where they're probably going to hold him. That's exactly what Sean Payton said, believe it or not. It's like, I don't know if he's going to be ready week 1, but he's going to be close enough, so we're going to hold a roster spot for him. Now, you could also say that Adam Prentice could end up sliding into a tight end role because of that fullback scenario, and maybe that's the case if they don't want to hold that spot, but then as soon as he comes back, as soon as Adkins comes back, that's his spot to have on the 53. So there are your tight ends. Now on to the offensive line. I have them keeping 9. Garrett Bowles, Ben Powers, Luke Wattenberg, Quinn Miners, Mike McGlinchey, Matt Peart, Alex Palczewski, Alex Forsyth, and Frank Crum. This is a pretty good offensive line. And I know there were a lot of Broncos fans that were getting in the comment section down below during our live watch streams and in the most recent videos. And they were like, this is a problem. Our offensive line, our starting offensive line doesn't look that great. I'm not worried about it. I'm really not. I thought that there was a lot of good things that could have been taken away from that Saints game. Maybe not so much against the 49ers, but specifically against the Saints. I thought the Broncos' offensive line showed just enough to where I don't have to worry about them whatsoever. So I have them keeping a full 9. Do you agree with my offensive projections? Call it a, like an all-in-all grade, if you will. But you don't have to give it a grade. You can just say, do you agree or disagree? Let me know in the comment section down below. I feel like because the Broncos are bringing back 86% of their roster from last year, it's going to be hard to disagree with a lot of this stuff. So you'll find here that there might be a player or two that you disagree on, but overall as a whole, I feel like it's a pretty cohesive unit. Now, before I get into the defensive players, I do have to give a major shout out to our friends over at Prize Picks. Today's episode is sponsored by Prize Picks, and it is the best place to get real money sports action all season long. All you got to do is head on over to your app store and click that download button on the Prize Picks app. Once you do that, you can pick 2 to 6 players on your stat projections. If you get your picks right, you could cash in and win up to 2,000 times your money. Which players are going to go off? Which players aren't? Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your sports opinions into real money all season long on Prize Picks. How does it specifically work? Well, this is kind of how it works. You just pick your player, more or less, and then you can go 2 times, 5 times, 10 times, whatever kind you want, and depending how aggressive you want to go on your picks, Prize Picks makes it super easy for you. So go to the App Store, click that download button, and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game. Let's talk a little bit of defense now, shall we? Because this is the best unit on this Broncos team, and that's not a shot at the offense. That's just you've got the best defense in the entire NFL. So let's talk about the guys that are going to make the 53 on the best defense in the NFL. Let's start with the defensive line. There's one on this list, and I'll talk about it here in just a second, that I think could go either way. But let's start with the basics. Zach Allen, DJ Jones, John Franklin Myers, Malcolm Roach, Savion Jones, the rook from LSU, and Ioma Uwazurike. I slid Ioma Uwazurike in there, but it is literally a coin flip for me. I could see Jordan Jackson taking that last spot as well. Jackson played in all 17 games, by the way, last year. So he does offer that veteran presence, that run-stopping support that you like to see in a defensive lineman. So I could absolutely see the Broncos going heads or tails, heads for Ioma, tails for Jordan Jackson. So this one is kind of fluid for me. Either way, you can put whatever you want in that spot, and I'd be pretty much okay with it. But the first 5 are kind of like, you can't argue those. Those are the guaranteed locks. That last one could go either way for me. Let's move on to the edge rushers, because the edges are a little bit different. Technically, they're linebackers, but they don't play like linebackers. They're the outside linebackers, right? So let's go Nik Bonitto, Jonathan Cooper, Jonah Ellis, Dondre Tillman, and Q Robinson, the rook from Alabama. You want to hear a little hot take? I got one for you. The Broncos' edges, 3 of them will have 10-plus sacks in 2025. Nik Bonitto, Jonathan Cooper, Jonah Ellis. I'm high on Jonah Ellis this year, man. From what I saw in the preseason, granted he was going up against guys that weren't the best, third and fourth stringers, I thought he was dynamic. I mean, just an unbelievable player at setting the edge and stopping the run, and played great against the pass as well. So I'm guessing 3 Broncos edges have 10-plus sacks in 2025. Let's move to the inside linebackers. I've got 4. Now, there's a caveat in this one as well, and I'm sure you've already seen it, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. Dre Greenlaw, Alex Singleton, Justin Strnad, and Lavelle Bailey climbs in at that last 4th spot. You're probably wondering, where's Drew Sanders? Well, he's on the IR right now. So he probably, in my opinion, ends up getting a 5th spot. I don't think the Broncos will get rid of a linebacker. I think they'll add Drew Sanders to make that room 5 deep, and then they'll cut someone else on the defense or maybe the offense. They'll get rid of another spot to make room for Drew Sanders. But he's not supposed to be back for at least until week 4 or week 5. So he's on the short-term IR as well. But that's who I have as my linebackers. Broncos corners, no-fly zone, 2.0. Pat Surtain, Riley Moss, Jahdae Barron, Jaquan McMillan, Chris Abrams-Drain. I only have 5. You're probably wondering, where's Damari Mathis? Not on this list. And I got to be honest with you. From last year into preseason this year, I have been very disappointed in Damari Mathis. I don't think he's going to make this team. Period, point blank. I made a video the other day about trade candidates, and I said you could probably get something for him. But the truth is, the more and more that I think about it, the more and more I'm just thinking he's just going to get cut. I think the Broncos only go with 5 corners because of how versatile Jahdae Barron is. He's the key to all this. In the event that someone does go down, a.k.a. a Riley Moss, right, or, God forbid, Pat Surtain, Chris Abrams-Drain can flip to the outside. Or, if you really want, you could flip Jahdae out to the outside and put Jaquan McMillan in the nickel. So there's plenty of different options that you can go with here. And guess what? Jahdae can even play some safety. So there's so much versatility in that cornerback room, specifically with our first round pick, that I truly believe you don't need to carry more than 5. 5 is like the magic number at this point for the Denver Broncos cornerbacks. How about the safeties? Let's talk about those bad boys. Brandon Jones, Talanoa Hufanga, P.J. Locke, Devin Key, and you know what? I had to throw him in there. I did. I had to do it, man. I had to go with J.L. Skinner. He played too well this preseason. I put him on there. Now, this might piss some people off here when I say this, so get ready. If Drew Sanders comes back, or when Drew Sanders comes back, I could see J.L. Skinner getting the bump back to the practice squad in the event that they wanted to eliminate someone on the defensive side of the ball, but maybe they don't. This could go either way. There's a lot of different paths that you can take. But I put J.L. Skinner on this right now just because I feel like he earned it. He absolutely earned it. So I have 5 safeties for the Denver Broncos. And then, of course, to wrap up the show, Broncos special teams. Lutz, Crawshaw, Fred Boney. These are our, God, I can't, English is tough sometimes. These are our, that's the ticket right there, special teamers. And I've got a lot of faith in Darren Rizzi, the new special teams coordinator for the Denver Broncos. I feel like this is going to be a very, very good unit as well in 2025. That's it. That's all I got. Those are my 53. Grade the full roster projection. A, B, C, D, or F. I feel like I said earlier, it's very, very hard to give this anything lower than a B, not because I'm tooting my own horn, but because the Broncos brought back 86% of their starting lineups for last year. That's number 1 in the NFL. That's not in my graphic. That's an NFL stat for you. So give me a grade down in the comment section down below. Reminder that we've got some big things coming. The official 53-man roster drops tomorrow. The full breakdown and analysis will be coming tomorrow. A preview of Week 1 versus Titans will be coming sometime in the next couple of weeks. And then, of course, make sure, in case you don't miss anything, subscribe and turn on those notifications. A big old mile-high salute to you, Broncos fans. 2025 season is just around the corner. Be cool.